Alright, what's up, Dragon Brood? Today I get to say thank you to Words of the Coast for letting me preview some cards for Explorer Anthologies 2. And I have to tell you, I haven't been playing a lot of Explorer, but this round of cards really does have me pretty amped up to want to play. But let's start, because we don't get just one, we don't get two or three, we get four. Not quite 5 times, but we get 4. 5-time reference if you know, you know. But we get 4 to talk about today. So let's hop right in and look at the first card that we have to preview, and that's Dispel. The amusing thing about a card like Dispel is I actually forgot it wasn't even legal yet in Explorer. And this is actually a card that's really good, especially when you're talking about trying to break up combos, or maybe you even want to play an aggressive deck and protect your stuff against some key cards, right? This is actually very useful. And for just 1 blue mana, this is a card that decks often turn to for a little bit of defense. This is a cool spell to have added. And I'm not even a blue player. I don't like playing counters or any of that, but sometimes they're just necessary, and this is the right answer. Now we get to go from an instant to an enchantment. Our next card is Nylea's Presence. Now this card's actually really cool because it turns a land into every land type. And this has a lot of random uses, things you may not think of, but if you're trying to hit domain, that's a thing, right? Because now you have every land type. It also allows you to draw a card when it comes into play. This actually fits a few different types of decks, especially if you're talking about playing something that cares about having extra enchantments, and then this allows you to draw a card. Or again, like I said, if you just need certain land types in play, this can trigger for that as well. It's actually low to cost, which is also really nice. This also ends up being the kind of card a lot of times that you get to deck building and you're like, I just need one more thing that draws some cards that can really help me get to the next thing, or maybe even fix my mana. Like, this card can do that for you. All right, now our last 2 cards are creatures, and not only are they creatures, they're actually thematic creatures. So let's get into this first one, which is Shaman of the Pack. Now I like this card because it allows elves to kind of have another way to approach ending the game, right? It's not just, okay, I have to get a bunch of mana and maybe try to play some big thing that pumps my team, or maybe turn all my creatures into something else. This is just simply come into play, opponent loses life equal to the number of elves I control, right? It's kind of hard to beat that. And it's a cheap card. It's 3 mana, right? Like, this is exactly what those decks want. Now, it does actually require black mana, so some of the elf decks that were mono green will have to be finding a way to splash this, but let's be honest, it's not like it's that hard for elves to find another color. And we just showed a card that would make that possible if they wanted to do that too. Doubt you're playing those in the same deck, but just saying, possibility. But I do like this card. I like having a way to get some extra damage. It actually makes your elf tokens matter if you want to go that way. This is a card that when it was standard legal and you were able to play some elves, this actually ended up being a kind of cool corner case thing to finish off your opponent. And this becomes a type of card that makes everything a threat at that point, and your opponent has to assess, like, if you have a Shaman of the Pack, can they survive any extra damage coming through, right? So I'm really a big fan of this card, and I think it's going to help elf decks pretty good, pretty well. Why did I say good? You know what I'm saying. It's going to be a good addition for elves. All right, now this next one, I'm just going to say, you're going to see this and you're going to have a visceral reaction, most likely one way or the other. You're going to love it or you're going to hate it. And that's really just going to come down to how much you enjoy slivers, because we're talking about Sliver Hive Lord. Now, the cool part about this is if you are a fan of slivers, this just straight up gives all slivers indestructible. And it's a big old body for 5 mana. Granted, it's 5 different colors, but if you're playing slivers, you don't really care. Now, this may not be the best thing to play in just 60 card Explorer, but this also makes the card available on Arena now, so you can play it in Brawl. And I expect we're going to see quite a bit of it. This card's actually really neat, and I'm not sure if people are really anticipating this being in this or not, but I like the inclusion of this card because it kind of opens that direction of, hey, can we look forward to future slivers? Are we going to get the other legendary slivers? I don't really know, but I'm actually kind of excited to see this card around, and it opens up a world of possibilities to look forward to for Explorer over the next couple of releases. But there you go, 4 new cards for Explorer. And honestly, Explorer Anthology 2 is actually looking pretty sweet. It drops on Arena on December 13th, and you'll be able to pick it up with either gems or gold. So keep your eye out for that if you're looking forward to playing with those new cards. And the cool part is, this actually brings us this much closer to having Pioneer on Arena, which is actually pretty damn sweet. But again, thank you to Words of the Coast for letting me preview these cards. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about this. If you're excited about these cards, are you indifferent? Or do they make you more interested in Explorer like they do me? That's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.